Keyword density, optimizing B2B content. Right. Keyword density isn't the lever it used to be. If you've ever been asked to make the headline hit 2.35%, you've seen how keyword density can hijack a B2B content process. The catch is that modern SEO doesn't reward robotic repetition, and modern buyers don't tolerate it either. For B2B teams, keyword density is best treated like a diagnostic that keeps pages on topic and out of spammy territory. When 62% of B2B traffic is attributed to organic search, the real goal is intent-driven content that earns clicks and supports pipeline. In practice, keyword density debates often start when inbound slows down and everyone looks for a knob to turn. But the perfect percentage mindset creates content that reads like it was written for an algorithm, not a buyer. The outcome is predictable: lower engagement, weaker conversions, and SDRs who won't send the asset because it feels off. We approach this differently at SalesHive. We write to match buyer intent first, then use density as a quick sanity check at the end. That keeps the content natural while still giving search engines clear, relevant signals. It also makes the content usable in real sales conversations, whether you're running an in-house SDR team or an outsourced sales team. Why keyword density still shows up in B2B SEO conversations. B2B buying journeys still start in search, and they start early. Research compilations show 71% of buyers begin with a generic query, not a brand term, which means your content has to clearly match the language buyers use. If your page kind of covers the topic but never says it plainly, you're forcing Google and the reader to guess what it's about. Content also carries more weight than most teams admit once you look at pre-sales behavior. Roughly 60% of decision makers read at least 3 pieces of content before contacting sales, so your SEO pages are often your first sales touch. That's why a page about sales outsourcing or a B2B sales agency can't be a keyword-stuffed brochure. It has to answer the questions buyers are already asking. Keyword density fits into this as a simple check for 2 extremes: pages that barely mention the primary topic, and pages that repeat a phrase so much it feels like telemarketing copy from 2008. The best content teams use density to catch those issues fast, then move on to what actually drives rankings and revenue: intent alignment, depth, and clarity. What keyword density is and what it isn't. Keyword density is just a ratio: how often a keyword appears compared to total word count. It's easy to calculate, and that simplicity is exactly why it gets overused. Teams see a number and start optimizing toward it, even when the page already reads naturally and covers the topic well. The bigger myth is that hitting a specific density will push a page up the SERPs. A 2025 analysis of 1,536 Google results found top 10 pages averaged only 0.04% exact match keyword density, which is far lower than most marketers expect. The implication is straightforward. Exact match repetition is not the winning strategy, and over-optimization can easily do more harm than good. A practical guardrail many practitioners still use is roughly 1 to 2% for the primary term as an upper bound check, not a goal. If you're significantly above that, it's often a sign the writing is forcing the phrase rather than explaining the concept. If you're significantly below it, you may be drifting off topic, or you may be avoiding the keyword so much that relevance becomes unclear. How we implement intent-first optimization in B2B content. Start by mapping keywords to the buying journey, because intent dictates how direct your language should be. A broad query like sales development process belongs in educational content, while terms like cold calling services or SDR agency often belong on comparison, solution, and service pages where readers expect specificity. When you get intent right, the right density tends to happen naturally. Next, prioritize strategic placement over frequency. If the primary keyword appears naturally in the title, the opening, and at least one section heading, you've already sent clear, relevant signals without turning every paragraph into a repetition exercise. This is especially important for pages targeting high-intent terms like cold calling agency or cold email agency, where buyers want straightforward answers and proof, not word games. Finally, remember how scarce qualified clicks can be? In the US, about 58.5% of Google searches in 2024 resulted in 0 clicks. So when you do earn a visit, you can't waste it with awkward, stuffed copy. Write the draft for humans first, then run a density check to catch extremes, and only edit where readability and clarity improve. Treat keyword density like a smoke alarm. It's there to warn you when something's off, not to tell you how to design the whole house. Best practices: clusters, placement, and funnel fit messaging. Instead of betting everything on one exact phrase, build keyword clusters that reflect how buyers search. Someone researching sales outsourcing might also search outsource sales team, sales development agency, B2B sales outsourcing, or B2B cold calling services, and your content should cover those angles naturally. This approach reduces repetition, increases topical depth, and helps you rank for a wider set of related queries. Your density check should be paired with a funnel check. Tofu pages should explain concepts and frame problems. Mofu pages should help buyers evaluate approaches, and Bofu pages should be crisp about what you do and who you help. When you align topic, copy, and intent, the content becomes useful for both SEO and SDR follow-up. Use this table as a practical benchmark for how direct your keyword usage should feel by funnel stage. The point isn't to copy a percentage. It's to ensure the language matches buyer expectations at that stage and supports conversion. Common mistakes that quietly sabotage rankings and conversions. The most common mistake is treating density as a KPI and rewriting perfectly good sentences just to fit a tool's score. That usually leads to keyword stuffing, which search engines explicitly call out as spammy behavior. Even when you avoid a penalty, the page often loses trust because it reads like it's trying too hard. Another mistake is under-optimization. Teams write a solid piece, but the primary term barely appears. The headings don't reflect the query, and the introduction doesn't confirm the reader is in the right place. The result is lower relevance signals and weaker engagement, which matters because organic traffic is only valuable if it converts into conversations. This is where a simple density scan plus a placement checklist can catch issues in minutes. A third mistake is letting SEO live in a marketing silo. If your SDRs never use the content, you're missing the easiest distribution channel you have. We recommend rewriting one overstuffed page into an intent-first asset, then measuring time on page, scroll depth, and assisted conversions before and after. You'll usually see quality metrics improve when language becomes more natural. Turning search language into outbound messaging your SDRs can use, SEO content becomes dramatically more valuable when it informs outbound. Pull query data from Search Console and SEO tools. Identify the phrases driving impressions and clicks, and mirror that language in cold email, call openers, and LinkedIn touches. When sales talks the way buyers search, your outreach feels like a continuation of the buyer's research instead of a random pitch. This alignment matters because SEO is often reported to generate up to 14x more leads than outbound in B2B contexts, and consistent blogging is associated with 67% more leads than not blogging. The opportunity isn't choosing SEO or outbound, it's connecting them, so the same language, proof points, and objections show up everywhere. That's where content stops being a traffic project and starts functioning as sales collateral. At SalesHive, we use intent insights to shape both content and campaigns, whether the motion is B2B cold calling services, or a blended outbound sales agency approach. If a page targets sales outsourcing, our SDR talk tracks and sequences reinforce the same buyer questions and value props that page answers. The result is fewer context switches for the prospect and a cleaner path from search to meeting. Next steps: a simple operating system for keyword density and better pipeline. Operationally, keep it simple and repeatable. Audit density and placement across your top revenue-influencing pages. Flag the extremes and fix the handful of pages that are either drifting off topic or obviously repetitive. Then standardize your on-page checklist so new content launches with strong relevance signals without sacrificing readability. To keep momentum, create a monthly feedback loop between marketing and sales. Review search queries, call recordings, and email replies, and turn repeated buyer language into new topics and keyword clusters. Over time, this builds a library that matches how prospects search, how they evaluate, and how they object, so your SEO content and SDR conversations reinforce each other. If you don't have a team living in the details of both SEO and outbound, this is where a partner can help without turning your strategy into a checklist obsession. Since 2016, we've booked 100,000+ meetings for 1,500+ B2B clients by combining targeting, data-driven messaging, and execution across cold email and calling. Whether you're evaluating a B2B sales agency model, comparing SDR agencies, or exploring SalesHive pricing, the right North Star stays the same. Write for intent, use density as the guardrail, and build content that sales is proud to send.